I've come to know the man, Donald Trump, almost all my life. First of all, I stumbled into a book called The Art of the Deal when I was 16 years old. And I loved the copy of the book and the very handsome white man that was, that was drilled at the back of that book. So I because of the face of the person, I started reading the book and I realized that it was an insightful book. It's called The Art of the Deal. This will probably, people can go about, start looking for it. It's still in different places. So that was where he exposed how he became successful and everything about it. So I equally, I read the book and keep reading it. From that book, I learned other books about him and other big people like him. So I continue reading. I never stop reading their books and all that. So eventually, I like everything about him. I continue telling my people. Then there was no internet. So you can only know if you read. Then no TV, nothing. So I go to so many places and I'll be telling people that there is one very handsome man in America. His name is Donald Trump. He's in real estate. He's very successful. And from there, so many of my friends picked interest. Even I know a couple of them today that had real estate from my mouth for the first time. Some of them are now big real estate tycoons as a result of my talk with them as of then. So that was how I came to know the person of Donald Trump. So I continue to admire his lifestyle, continue to check on everything he does almost on a monthly basis. Okay, and from there I got this inspiration from him, and I continue to apply the strategies of the things I learned from the book I read, even in my local trade. Then when I travel to the areas where I used to supply products in the north, and I will be acting in such a way that they will think I have received special anointing from heaven. Eventually they didn't know I used to learn this trick from the book I used to read. So that is that.
Okay, sir. He has just regained power.
Yes.
So what is the lesson that we need to draw, that you think Nigeria need to draw? And what's your general outlook of his presidency?
Well,
why are you pushing so happy, pushing for him?
First of all, you will like to know how we come about the first term, his first term. You see, in this life, the spiritual things, I think, controls the physical. Donald Trump initially wanted to run for office so many years ago. Not today, not now. First time he expressed interest was in 2000 and, if I'm not mistaken, was somewhere in 2008. But he pushed so forward in 2012 when he wanted to run against Barack Obama. But because of the politics in the Republican nature, the nature of Republican politics, he was asked to step down for Mitt Romney. So we all had this, because me, I'm a Republican by nature. I just like the Republican Party. I started, my dad told me about them in the late 80s when Bill Clinton was running against incumbent George W. Bush.
Yes.
So my dad supported Bill Clinton, but all of a sudden I was supporting that one that my dad was against. So eventually when he lost to Bill Clinton, I was not excited. I didn't know he was a Republican man then. So eventually in 2008, rather in 1998, when his son George W. Bush was running, then I've come of age to understand all the whole involvement, So then I supported George W. Bush. So when he won the election, I was actually in Kenya Airways, returning to Nigeria on my first trip overseas. So I went to purchase goods in Dubai. I was quite young, I was around 19. So I now screamed when I heard the announcement in Kenya Airways. I screamed in jubilation that, my candidate won. So many people wondered, why am I excited? I said, no, I like the party he belongs to. And I like him because he used to fold his shirts and look smart. So that is one of the reasons why I like the Republicans. So eventually, when Trump wanted to run in 2012, he dropped for Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney failed, and Trump said that he would have defeated Barack Obama. And I was of the opinion that Trump should have come and defeat that Barack Obama, because I supported Barack Obama his first term, which I regretted so much, because I realized he made a terrible mistake in Africa. He was pushing same-sex marriage, forcing it on us, sending Hillary Clinton to come and push it and persuade our government officials, and they went to Libya and destroyed Libya. And so I was personally angry with Barack, personally, not, yeah. So, and I believe once I'm angry with somebody, God is angry with that person. That's my personal belief. So I didn't support his second term. So when he won, I was not happy. Although I didn't think he won fairly against Romney. So eventually, Trump came on board in 2015. So he had no chance. People never believed him. Then I started some campaigning for him that the time has come. Because God already showed me vision that Trump would be president of America so many years ago. So my wife I'm married to, my wife, which I'm married today, I met her just at the same time when Trump was running for primaries. So we started dating. She's a lawyer. She already graduated from, she has already been called to bar then, yes. So we started everything. And I told her that I will engage you when Trump wins a primary election, and that's when he eventually, I will engage you to start with, if he wins primary election. And eventually, Trump will win the primary election, and I engaged my wife. And from the engagement, her behavior became suitable for me to marry, and I married her. I told her that you will give birth to a baby boy, which will come before Trump wins the presidential election. And when the boy comes, I will name him Trump. And that's from there, we can take it from there. Eventually, my wife got pregnant. And 2 weeks before the US election in 2016, that was October 24, behold, a bouncing baby boy called Trump. When the boy came, I named him Trump. I didn't waste time to look for him because it's already fixed. The name. Almost all my children, my 4 kids, their names has long been selected and fixed. I'm telling you, it's not a joke. So the boy was named Trump, and he's quite a handsome boy. You can see. He looks like Trump. Give your phone to see you. Sit well. This is Trump, and next to Trump is Ivanka, the younger sister. This is Ivanka. Ivanka, say hello.
Hello.
Yes. So, and whatever that happens to Trump happens to me. When Trump was going through tough time, when we're never happy, and all of a sudden it looks like people who knows me also now want to, whenever Trump is going through a tough time, they want to use it to relate with me. They want to say, his man is going through a tough time, let's watch him. I mean, even in school where I went to admit my son first, the man was an anti-Trump, the owner of the school. I never knew he does not like Donald Trump. But he want to use that hatred to treat my son. That one that he's calling his son Trump. I mean, for what? Is it a crime to name somebody Trump? I mean, so that is that.
What do you think his presidency would look like for especially Nigeria or an Africa?
I believe that immigration is in everybody's best interest. There are so many of my people in Anambra, Nakpu, where I came from, that left my village when we were very small. They say they have gone to the US. Today we haven't seen them coming back home. Who knows whether they are illegal immigrants in US? Because if they had been there making money and they are counted among people, we should have seen them. Okay? I know how pressured I could be if I'm in anywhere in the world and my visa is 3 days to finish. I don't want anybody to tell me I'm illegal in their country. So that's a very bad thing. To be illegal in another man's country is a very big crime. So I believe that Donald Trump, of course, whatever Donald Trump does is right. The man is so unique that I don't think he can ever indulge in evil policy.
So I want to quote a gentleman, fashion designer, whose name is Yomi Casual. Yomi Casual posted on X today that Nigerians, please go and renew your American visa before Trump is sworn into office. What would you react? How would you react to this?
Such a false alarm. I call those attitudes are called false alarm. Excuse me. You see, immigration policy, for I know it, has its processes and procedure. If Trump is in office, it has nothing to do with your renewal of immigration of American visa. Okay? The Yomi Casual is just trying to find people who will come and be patronizing his tailor and his clothes that he's sewing. That's the only reason why he can say those things. Those people are chasing. But unfortunately, he has not visited me. So this one to come and follow others and take measurement from me. So he himself shouldn't be talking those rubbish. If you have your visa in the American visa, look, that I am supporting Donald Trump doesn't mean I've not been rejected visa from America. No. Okay, why are you even interested in going to America? How many Americans are interested in coming here? You don't know that you have to stay in your country to help to build it. If all Americans have been running away from their country, you think there will be anybody to build it for them? What are you looking for? You think it's made of heaven?
Zelensky is a major interest right now internationally because of the president of Ukraine, and there are talks that he might not get a favorable support from Trump when Trump is inaugurated. How do you react to this?
Well, you know, as I'm speaking as the foundation, as the head of a foundation, I had never liked Zelensky's approach to the war from beginning. I believe that war ought to have been prevented. When he started this campaign was at the tail end of Trump's administration. And Trump then advised him to go home and make peace with Vladimir Putin. Okay? If he had listened to that good advice, he would have prevented what was it that got Russia threatened and scared and stop it. You know, knowing fully well that Russia is a strong superpower nation, that Ukraine does not have what it takes to fight them. So now, but when others are pushing you, do this, do that, do this, do that. I mean, there are limits to what people can, to the support people can give you when you are fighting someone. And so you that is fighting, you have to be very strong. Know that your strength can prevail. But I think that now that Trump has won re-election, actually God is the one that made him to lose under Joe Biden, so that he can sit back and see the good job that God wants him to accomplish. He will fix the problem of Ukraine like he said he would. He will solve that problem as he said he would. And there will be peace in that part of the world. Because we need peace in Ukraine, because crisis in Ukraine is also crisis in our streets. Because most of importations from Ukraine, like grains and onions, a lot of things that is coming there, we don't have them anymore. It is contributing to the world, to the inflation we are going through today. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Is it what her name again? Kamala Harris.
Harris, yes.
Harris. According to Trump, nobody know what the hell meaning of Harris is all about. So these two guys caused the world a lot of problem by this woman going to Ukraine and going to Europe and go and cause trouble there, according to Trump. So we have seen it today. Initially, I used to use 25,000 naira to fill my SUV. Today I'm paying 100,000 to fill it. So it's not funny. So Trump will help to solve that because he's a peace lover. He's a big guy. Every big guy like peace. You can see how his world is, his beautiful world. His children, his daughter, these are the kind of things I like. A good man, which is very good plane that he used to go for campaign. And that plane is designed with gold everywhere inside.
There are also those who hold the sentiment that Trump is a lawbreaker and the lawbreaker has taken over power in the White House. What's your position?
How do you mean is a law? What do you mean by lawbreaker? Well, I'm not a spokesman for Trump. Lawbreaker, I don't understand what that means by a lawbreaker. He can't be a lawbreaker. Such a man, if he's a lawbreaker, he would have been jailed long ago. Prison is meant for lawbreakers, and there are a lot of number of prisoners in US who break the law. A man who has employment of about 70,000 people all over the world. The last time I went to Istanbul with my children, we spent a lovely time in his apartment in that place. Iconic building in Dubai, iconic building all over the world. He can be a lawbreaker. You see, but one thing is that when you have a very big personality, it becomes envious of a lot of people to deal with. And with the way he talks, he doesn't keep anything in reserve because he's straightforward human being. Okay? So that's why people think he's a lawkeeper. He's a lawkeeper, it's not a lawbreaker.
Okay, so what are the lessons politicians need to learn from Trump?
Well, the lessons that the Nigerian politicians need to learn from this first is the lesson to allow free and fair election to hold. Is the lesson to allow people to choose their leaders through the fairness of the ballot system. Because it's obvious, even a newborn baby in Nigeria knows that these people called INEC, if care is not taken, the time shall come when Nigerians may be tired of queuing up to vote. Let INEC just tabulate the result and know whom to give anyone they want to give, instead of wasting people's time to go and queue up under the sun, and yet INEC will do their special business. So if let Nigerian politicians, you see how it was done. They started voting on Tuesday morning in the US. On Wednesday morning here in Nigeria, which is midnight in US, the result has already been shown to the whole world. That's what they call transparent systems. If it had been in Nigeria, they will lock the whole votes inside a room, they are counting, they are reading it, allocating whom to allocate to results. Before you know it, riot will break out in Kafanchan. Another one will follow up in Port Harcourt. I no agree. In that turmoil, police everywhere, kill, shoot. That midst of that violence, INEC will announce the result of whoever he feels to announce. So let them, I don't know how this can happen, but Nigeria need to be able to choose their leader. Whoever they choose, let that person lead them within the time frame that the law permits. Okay? So that is the lesson I want them to, one of the lessons I want them to learn. Also, they need to learn lessons to have strong will. course, there are so many Nigerian politicians in Nigeria that have taught us lessons of even lessons. There's always lessons to learn from everything in politics. But one that is very good about Donald Trump is that he stood for what is right. He stood against same-sex marriage. He stood against abortion. Okay? As you can see how God saved him. Up to 2 or 3 times they had tried to kill him. But God prevented that from taking place. Because there's still a lot he has to do for the world. So now that he has finally been elected again to do another 4 years in office, we will continue to pray for him for safety. Okay? We'll continue to pray for God to protect him, to give him life and protect him indeed. Because he still there's a lot he still has to do. The world needs to be stabilized again. Our economy needs to be stabilized. He's an economist. He knows how to produce money, how to make transactions. If you get it right in America, we will get it right here. We are interested in what happens in America because American policy affects the world. American people may think that they are the only one that owns their president. That's not true. We are also interested in who rules them because they are the #1 policy of the world. So America cannot be saying, nobody in America can say, Trump belongs to us. No, Trump belongs to all of us. They can't take him alone. It's too big for them to convert to their personal use. Because his policy in US affects us, whether you like it or not. So he will be fair because he's a fair man and just. He will not be wicked and mean and brutal like the outgoing guy and he will not be mean. He will not be reckless to use war as a kind of playing politics. He likes life because he has younger children. And his children, they are so unique and they are in good business as well. So he will make good policies that will favor the world. And my advice to anybody who wants to go to America is make sure you have their visa and they don't go there and stay beyond the time they ask you to stay. Come back home. So long as you have visa and your passport, nobody can harass you anywhere in the world. But if you don't have visa, I am sorry for you. Not only in America, even in Kenya, there's a time they put in your passport. If you exceed it, the Kenyan police will treat you like you are not a human being, talk less of being an African. Or in South Africa. So don't go to overstay your welcome. That's a crime.